Hey everyone and welcome, Nevin here, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to optimize your service pages for SEO. Go through, there's little things you can do like adding pricing details and certain phrases you can use in structured data. Pricing tables are a perfect example. I want to show you how to do that. I want to show you how to add in some FAQs, optimize those for SEO, and then also integrate AutoBidder into that. So you're going to have this page that someone's looking for price related information. You answer it specifically with a perfect call to action. So I'm going to show you that. We've got a website here that we'll be using. This website will be available as a template inside the AutoBidder dashboard, so you can import and use the same one. And then, if you want, you can just change out these images, put pictures of your trucks in here, and your reviews, and so on and so forth. But with that being said, I'm not going to focus a whole lot on the home page in this example. I'll be focusing on the service page. All right. So I have a fresh AutoBidder account, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set up our AutoBidder to match the design of our service page, and then we're going to build out our service page as we go. So most of our time today is going to be spent inside the service page. Okay. So let's head over to the service page. Now, at the end, once I've showed you how to optimize this landing page for, in this example, I'll be doing house washing. I'm also going to create a duplicate of this for roof cleaning, or maybe I'll do another service. I just want to show you two examples so that you get it. And once I've done that, I'm going to show you how to create the location page version of this page. So you've got your primary service page, right, for house washing, but you want to target, 15 different locations. I'm going to show you how you can do that in this as well. Okay, so let's dive right into it. All right. So we've got our service page, and so you notice the service page is a little bit different than the home page because the service page now says house washing. So with that being said, I just want to mention, guys, I'm probably not going to talk a whole lot about this building process because what I found is it's a little bit difficult for me to work quickly and talk at the same time. A lot of times I'll get distracted or I'll go on tangents and so on. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to do a lot of the building. Uh, just I'm going to lock in and build, and then every now and again when I get to an important area, I'll stop and talk, and then um, I'll speed up or I'll do voiceovers and other important areas. I'll probably most likely, if this video gets too long, I'll cut it up into smaller clips so that you guys can skip through it and get the important parts that you want to see faster. So with that being said, let's dive right in. All right. So you can see we've got our page, and right now this is essentially, for the most part, it's just a duplicate of the homepage, and for the most part that's okay. So we've got our footer. A lot of the content can actually remain the same, like these generic call to actions and whatnot. That's fine. One of the core things we're going to want to do is we're going to want to add AutoBidder, and then we're going to want to add our pricing details to separate it or to specialize this page for targeting that keyword. Okay, so keyword, if this is just for house washing, let's say in this example this is not going to be a pricing page specifically. Now it's going to have pricing information, but a pricing page is way more targeted for that keyword, where you're like going, the H1 tag is like pressure washing prices location. This is more just the service. Okay, now it's going to include pricing and that information is going to be available, but that's not going to be the focal point of it. Okay, now with that being said, that's going to keep our H1 tag being Housewash Service Pros in Harrisburg. That's fine. And then this title will be fine too, because it's not the focal point of this video. This as well. Now instead of power washing, we'd want to update this keyword to be house washing, and then we'd also want to grab a different image of the background, or different house, or background image right there. Exterior cleaning, so we'll say house washing services. And then what you would want to do is update this text to be okay. And this picture actually lines up because it happens to be a house washing picture. Now what this would be, this was actually, these images in this section led to different services. What I'm actually doing is changing this section to be more specific to this service. So I'm going to go over to Gemini and I'm going to say I'm gonna go grab a couple images here. So the question becomes, where do we want to add the pricing form? And I think I'm gonna add the pricing calculator right here. Okay, so here I'm going to add an H2 tag. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a pricing table right here. So I'm going to replace all of this information with a pricing table. Okay, so we got our vinyl siding house, and I'm going to do the same thing with, while that's going, I'm going to open up a tab for ChatGPT. Oops, I said free cleaning. And then basically what you're going to do is you're going to go row by row once you've duplicated that down page, and you're going to decide whether you need it or you don't. And in this section, I could just cut this and it would be a lot easier, but for SEO purposes, I'm just going to show you guys how to use it. So I'm going to come to this section, and I think it was this one initially. I'm going to throw in that image that I just created from Gemini. Well, yeah, I'll keep going with it. I'm on the fence. Do I want to cut it? I think I'm actually going to cut this. Could keep this, but I think it honestly just adds more of a distraction than anything. But maybe I'll change this background color. Now we're not gonna need this section that mentions commercial services, so we'll cut that. Now this code's hasn't been edited at all, this auto bidder that I'm about to put in, so it's gonna look very generic, but we're gonna get to that part in just a minute. That's an important part. I really like to cover that part in a lot of videos. The design customization of auto bidder, because it's a little bit tricky at first, but and this is fine. I think I'm just going to change this image though, because this was initially a picture of commercial. This picture is fine actually, I think, because this one is a residential house. It fits in with what we're going for. AutoBidder's taking a long time to load in. I think because we're still in the edit mode, it kind of has a lot going on. Well, I deleted that section, so I no longer need that. So what I'm making right now is a pricing table. This is purely for SEO, purely optimized for SEO. No other reason to add it other than to optimize for SEO. And it looks like this created multiple different ones. So let me just give this a quick try and see how this looks. All right, so you can see the auto bidder is in there right now. It's a very generic looking auto bidder, like I mentioned, but don't worry, we're gonna customize that, and that's gonna look pretty sweet when we're done. Now what we actually could do, if this does add 3, I might just add a whole new section, and then I'm gonna start by adding that HTML blocks right here. We'll paste in that pricing table, see how it looks. Okay. Just need to improve the design so it's a bit easier to see. Again, this is great for SEO because this gives people, this is like feeding exactly to Google what you want, and it's valuable because it's specific to your business, right? You're feeding this useful information into the system, and you're going to get rewarded pretty heavily for that. And I also want to cover this part too, but this is going to integrate a little bit more with AutoBidder. Okay, so let's head back and see if it's finished this up yet. Just updated the CSS, it didn't give me the new. Okay, that's not too bad. That's a minimum height. Let's hope that that looks okay on mobile. Let's go check it out. Okay. And we'll add another chart. Oh, that was the same one, it looks like. Okay. That's how it's washing. Okay. And then I also want to make sure that these are formatted to the top so that they all are uniform. Okay. And I think I'll just add that one other one in. I'm not actually too concerned with the content here. It's going to be, as long as it's somewhat useful, it's really all that matters to me. As long as it's somewhat useful and it's going to help us rank in the search results, and it's going to scratch that itch. Ultimately, what we're trying to do with this information is this helps us show up in Google, this structured data. Okay, that's why I'm doing it. That's the important thing. This helps us show up in Google. Once we've shown up in Google and a person has clicked to our website, now our goal is to get them to use AutoBidder. Like this basically shows them AutoBidder the data, how like like we structure our pricing. What we want them to do is do the easy thing, go through AutoBidder, get your pricing, right? So that's the whole idea here. So this is going to help us with our SEO. Now there's another thing, the FAQs I want to show you. That's very important. The thing I just did with the structured data, the tables, the FAQs are also very important. So I'm going to come down here. I'm going to select all. I'm going to copy this code I have right here for the current FAQ. And I'm going to say update So now I'm updating. Oops, I forgot to paste the code in. There we go. So now I'm updating the FAQs, and I'm going to make sure they are structured. SEO purposes. Then we'll have that. We will have taken care of the part, and then we can start working on integrating the design. Now we also want to make sure that we come in here and set a page title and a meta description. This is easier than ever with the AI assistant. So everything is extremely important. It's very easy to overlook and forget about, especially when you spent all this time building out your site. It's just so easy to forget. This is very important though. You want to make sure you take care of it. Okay, so set your meta title. It should look something like this. Basically, whatever your primary keyword is. So in this case, it would actually be house washing, your business name, and then the primary city you're targeting. You can cut the city part if you want. You don't have to structure it that way. That's just a kind of a good way of doing it, very popular way. You will see good results for doing it that way. You can also rank other ways of structuring that, okay? So, okay, looks like our FAQs are done. So now let's go ahead and paste these. So manage HTML, select all, paste. Okay. I should have told it to make more FAQs, but that's fine. You want to do, probably a lot right there actually. And then you'd want to add your own images right here as well. I don't have any easily offhand to just throw in there, so I'm going to skip that part. If I did go through that, it would take a long time. All right, so now that we got that, we've got our title here. We've updated our title. We've updated our page description or meta title. We'd want to update this section as well. And honestly, this, you could probably just add another just text description. And then right here, just add another photo. So I'm going to cut this residential section right here. And now let's go ahead and start optimizing our order form to fit in with the website design here, okay? So, first thing I'm going to do is head over to the AutoBidder dashboard. I'm going to head over to the design page. I'm going to head down to custom CSS. And I just like to, we have a built-in AI editor, but I like to use ChatGPT more because you can go more deep right away. It's just a little bit faster from what I found. Now what I'm doing is I'm just grabbing a screenshot of this. it looks like I'm gonna need to do something to it though. So what I'm doing right now, I'm just uploading the reference image of the website to ChatGPT along with the CSS classes so that the tool can write code to make the code for AutoBidder match the design of the tool. This is making it all individual clippable. I'm not a huge fan of that, but I'm gonna check on the call screen to see, make sure that the design went through. Okay, nice. Not bad. Not bad. Okay. So now we have optimized the page slightly. We still have some work to go in terms of optimization, but we have added a custom paragraph. We've updated the titles to reflect this specific service. We do need to still update this section. Okay, now I think I want to make this image smaller. Or this is a column, actually. Let's add a column to them. Well, that really messes us up. Not if we just do it like that, right? That way we can shrink this column down quite a bit. Okay. I think I would want to add a little bit of padding to that button, but let's go ahead and test it out. Now that adds a unique spin to that, right? I mean, hey, that keeps it on brand though with how the rest of the page was looking, right? I think I would also want to update these inputs right here as well, to be honest with you. But I mean, these are not bad how they are. I mean, keep this part looking standard. Not everything has to look totally badass. You know, you can keep it looking basic like that. I'm just testing this out to see how this pricing card looks. Okay, cool. Pricing, all good. Sweet. Okay. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. That is coming together nicely. We got our auto bidder integrated, we got our pricing details integrated. And now you essentially just want to duplicate this process. Now, we also want to continue developing this out too. Now, this is, if we really want to go far with this, which let's just go ahead and do it. So we've got that set up. We've also got this section down here. Let's go ahead and say, so I'm just going to update this text specific to house washing. So for house washing, you basically are just going to enter the variables, or so we'll say house square footage. And then we got material type. And then what I'll do is I'll just duplicate this section, and then I will move the blue one to the left and the red one to the right. And now we'll say, so we've got material type, we'll say height. And then we just want to get an icon that looks pretty good. House height, house square footage, material, those are the most important things, right? Then you might say Mm. Okay. This part can be left. That's fine. This part's probably fine. I mean, you could adjust this part if it needs to be adjusted for a specific service. Of course, the image is totally subjective whether you update those or not. This, before and after section, you'd want this to be, actual images of gutter cleaning, right? Okay, now, very important, we check this out on mobile. Oh, wow. Good thing I checked. I didn't check this section until just now, and you can see it's very, very messed up. Okay. Okay, I'll show you first that. Ah, yes, it's looking nice. Now let's go see how that looks on the site. Again, I always like to check mobile and desktop, so I'll start with desktop. So far, so good. Okay, here's the section. All right. Okay. And there you have it. So it's looking good. Now let's refresh that. Again, I want to check how it looks on mobile. Okay. I think the only thing I might want to do is make the font a bit smaller. Maybe make the icons a bit smaller too so they're all better. But overall, kind of liking it. Okay. Now, you know what? I think I'm going to also update the pricing card. So I'm going to say let's make the pricing card also have the same style along with the rest of the site. Okay, now let's head back over to design. I think it did add some. No, no, it didn't. Okay. So now we will come in here, paste this. Okay. Save it. Now I just want to see how the pricing card looks, so I'm just gonna do it inside of the dashboard here instead of going back over to the site editor, so I can skip the lead. Okay. You can see it tried to do something there. Added a little red. Added a shadow. Okay, the shadow element's cool. I like how when it hovers, it goes from that dark shadow to that more blurred one. It's kind of cool. Yeah, there needs to be some work done on these pricing cards as well as the invoice pages. I'm not sure what color this is. It's red. Okay, now I can see the checkpoints. Cool. Arguably, maybe want to make that a bit bigger. Am I zooming? Okay, so this is what the full screen version looks like. Am I zoomed in here too? Okay, yeah, okay. Okay, cool. Now I'm also going to test this on my actual phone. And then I did say I was going to show you how to do this for another service page. So I'll go ahead and I'll break that into another video. I'll end this one and then I'll break that into its own video.